So remote light switches stopped as soon as the school year ended. I didn't see any reason to continue that because I'm working with smart meters. After the smart meters hit dead ends, because we had no experience, no contacts, nothing, we're like, let's do remote light switches. And so I brought the design back, the one that I'd done in class, dubbed it out some more, did some more research, and then found out that there's one that's very similar.
Oh, dang it.
Similar enough, so I was like,
not worth it.
Not worth it anymore. So that sucked. We took some more time.
So what did you learn from all of that? I mean, I can imagine putting a lot of time into building something can be frustrating, and then after the fact, you find out that there's a competitor that's doing something similar. So now, when you do things, or what's different now that you're continuing to pursue the smart mirror as far as the competitive landscape goes?
As far as like what's making us different right now?
Yeah.
Let's see. But right before we decided to stop doing smart mirror altogether because we couldn't find suppliers or no idea what we were doing, we looked on Kickstarter. So we're considering doing a Kickstarter. So like, if we had enough money, we could make this happen.
Yeah.
We just pay.
And Kickstarter, is that just a crowdfunding website? Okay.
Yeah. So the idea with Kickstarter is you have an idea that's not real yet.
Yeah.
And then people give you certain levels of money, and then you give them a reward. So like $5 is like a handwritten thank you note. $10 is a T-shirt. $20 is something else. And then depending on what you're doing, like if someone gave us $1,000, we would send them a smart mirror or two.
Okay.
Along with like coming out to dinner with the team. It's totally up to you what you want to do. So,
that's crazy.
Love Kickstarter. Super awesome. So we looked on there for other smart mirrors. And we found 7.
Is that seems like a lot.
A lot.
Okay, I didn't know if that was 7 as in that's a lot of competition, or 7 like only 7.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
So we were like, wow, we should have looked here sooner. And a lot of them were pretty similar to what we were doing. Some of them were really dumb. And then a couple of them were like cut above what we were doing. This is really not good. And then I looked closer, and every single one of them failed.
Really?
Every single one. None of them reached their goal.
Interesting.
Because with Kickstarter, you set a goal, it's not how much money we want to raise.
Yeah.
Not a single one made it.
Okay.
And so I analyzed it, and I was like, let's find out where they all went wrong. And the only thing that I could think of was all of them were that big mirror, about this big. You have to hang it on your wall, and you got to plug it in.
Okay.
And I thought, okay, no one's going to pay $500 for that. Something
that you have to
find somewhere to hang and plug it in. There's a wire and everything.
Yeah.
Not good enough.
So what's the difference between your iteration now and that?
So that's when we took a long break. A lot of stuff happened in between there, but I'll jump ahead to when we decided to bring smart mirrors back. Okay. And that was when I had the idea to use suction cups. So instead of, the biggest thing is no one wants to, the biggest place you're going to be in front of the mirror is in your bathroom. Yep. No one really has a mirror like by the front.
So you don't have to nail this thing into the wall or anything. Jeremy would love you. He gets so mad that I always want to hang stuff up. He thinks we're going to hit a wire, we're going to hit something. Yep. Yeah. We're going to get a smart mirror. Okay. For sure.
I'll let you know when we come out with the residential model.
Okay.
So the idea was, especially for targeting like homeowner consumers.
Yep.
No one's going to want to pay $500 for a mirror they're going to put up somewhere where they're never going to use it really.
Exactly.
But in your bathroom is where you're going to use it. Okay, so how do we solve that? Usually people's bathrooms have these big mirrors. No one's going to want to take that down to hang up a small, it's still a large mirror, but smaller.
Right.
So what if you could just make the mirror that's already there smart? Yeah. And that was when we thought, okay, if we can get this as thin as possible and as slim and sleek.
Are you giving away like competitive, are these secrets?
Not really a secret. I mean, it's an original idea.
Because I'm posting this. I just want. I feel like this seems like really cool. I don't want other people. Oh, okay. Cool.
We're getting there.
Good.
So
just checking.
Suction cups right on. And that not only keeps the cost low because now it's smaller and it's really thin, really easy. But you don't have to install anything. The way that we have it programmed too, it'll take it out of the box, attach it to the mirror that's already there, plug it in, and it works. That's it.
That's convenience is key. It's what it's all about. Gotta simplify. Just like you were talking about for your grandma. Yeah. Make the simplest version of a product and people are gonna buy it.
Exactly. So we liked the idea that, you know, you don't have to uninstall, you know, take down your big mirror and just touch yours.
All right, so where are you guys at now with all of this? I know you're getting ready to be in some retail hair salons.
Yeah. So we actually just picked up the mirror again after a couple of other product ideas and app ideas and everything we were pursuing. Picked it back up in January. So we're like, I said in January, hey, let's do the smart mirror again. Let's actually follow it through this time with, like, you know, the suction cup idea. And I think this could work. So we started to build a prototype. Got 2 prototypes made, just on our own budget, just, you know, dumping in our own money. Made that happen, and then eventually got a grant from Missouri S&T.
Oh, that's
I went through their iCore program, which is part of their entrepreneurship minor. And so got enough money from them to build.
Keep going.
Okay. Got enough money from them to build 20 mirrors.
Okay.
And this is going to be our alpha test.
Okay.
And so the idea is, now that we've got our MVP, which is minimum viable product, just it looks good enough, it works, and we're going to test it. Get a bunch of customer feedback.
And I do want to get a little bit more into the investing side of things. So right now your grant was from Missouri S&T. So tell us more about OPO and the entire startup community and what that's like, because I honestly am not completely familiar with how it all works.
Delta Tech, I credit the OPO with a lot of our success. Because when we were seniors in high school and we had no idea what we were doing, and the mirror idea kind of died, we reached out to SCORE mentoring. I can't even, I think our engineering teacher, Mr. Weber in high school, told us about it, and we decided to reach out and try it. And after a couple of meetings with this mentor guy, he just took us to the OPO.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, we met Megan McKisson, the director of the OPO, and she fell in love with us. We liked her. Super nice, as you know. It's very supportive, and so we became OPO ambassadors. So we'd help set up and tear down for events, and we would come out and hang out whenever we needed to.
And then what is the OPO for people who don't know?
It's I guess it's a startup community.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily like an incubator, but it's they rent out office space. You can come in there and just hang out and network.
Right. And then so you've made a lot of connections through there.
Yes, it's all about the connections. That was one thing that we very quickly realized. As soon as we got into the OPO, we're like, wow, literally anyone who we would want to know, we either know here or we know someone who knows them. Like, it's, now the possibilities are limitless.
So are you, I mean, they were talking tonight about, I guess, pitching to investors and that kind of.
So tonight's event was the startup etiquette, and that was just how to get, you know, in front of more people, how to go about doing that kind of stuff.
So what are you guys doing right now to do, I mean, I think going to OPO and networking and talking is enough, but are you guys actively pursuing any investors?
From the OPO, we found out about Venture Cafe, T-Rex, let's see, what was the other networking event that we went to? I forget the name of it, but we learned about all those. I-10, that's what it is. We got into I-10, and that was another big
And that was one of the speakers tonight as well,
Yeah, that's the Startup Accelerator. So that's where they actually pair you with mentors and they get you growing faster.
This is a whole different world for me, I know. I'm in digital marketing and we've worked with a couple startups, but I don't know all the background of actually getting investors and all of that. So
our next step, let's see, you're talking about investors. We just finished an application to Capital Innovators, which is they give you a $50,000 grant and they mentor you hardcore for 3 months.
Is that St. Louis based?
Yes.
Wow. Where do they get this money?
I think it's government programs like this. Like St. Louis, says, "Hey, we want more startups, so here's money to hand out to startups who look like they have potential." Capital Innovators is very selective. So like hundreds of people apply, and then they pick 10.
Wow.
So we're really hoping we get in. We had lots of people tell us to, so we think that we have a good shot.
That's cool.
Yeah,
when do you find out about this? When do you find out if you get this?
I think we're going to find out in August.
Oh my gosh, that's really coming up.
Yeah. Applications are due. I think they just closed. We submitted ours last week. Yeah, it's going.
Yeah,
Got a lot of traction.
Yeah, you're getting a lot of traction.
Yeah.
Okay, so my last question for the time that we have is, if you could give advice to somebody who's starting out, maybe even a freshman in high school engineering class, what would you tell them?
Man, yeah, that's a really good question. Honestly, I would say you just need to get started.
Okay.
Just go. Just get started.
Are there a lot of people that overthink things, or are some engineers more overly analytical that they don't move and they don't get started on prototyping and building?
Well,
what's the
as far
typical?
as engineering goes, I mean, you have to have the entrepreneurial spirit too.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of engineers who just want to get a job. Right, they went through high school, they didn't do anything extraordinary or out of the ordinary, they just went through high school, now they're just going through college, and then they're going to get out and they're going to get a good paying job.
Yeah.
And that's it.
They don't want to think of anything innovative or new,
No.
That's just not a value. And there's nothing wrong with that, nothing wrong with
I
that,
mean,
but...
everyone needs workers, because I mean, those are the kind of people I'm going to hire, right? I'm going to need people to do the work. But myself, personally, I would rather work for myself, like 80 hours a week, than work 40 hours a week for somebody else.
Yeah.
I want to make my own dreams come true, then
and something that you're really passionate
make their
about.
dreams come true. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's where a lot of my drive comes from. I think that the fact that I know I'm not going to come out of college with a job because I'm not looking for one, I have to build my own.
Yeah.
That's just
That'd be a
it's
big
the kind of
fire.
person that you are.
Yeah.
You have to be that kind of person to really want to get started.
Yeah.
And to those people, get started now. Seriously, there's no reason not to. If you look for them, the resources are there.
Yep.
You'll find the resources.
And we'll link out to all of the resources in St. Louis. St. Louis is really growing as far as
really is.
startup scene. And
I wrote an article about
all of that.
it.
You did?
Ago. Yeah, I write too.
I didn't know that. I'll link out to your article too.
I write articles on my free time, which is hardly ever.
Yeah.
But
okay, well, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you all enjoyed Jonas' talk. We're definitely going to have a second follow-up interview because we're a little bit rushed tonight because I've got a soccer game, but thanks for watching.